Alright, everything you need to put your bottom bracket in yourself at home the proper way, you can get it at your local hardware store. I got everything here from Lowe's, cost me about $5 or $6. Basically all you need is a bolt long enough to go through the bottom bracket of the frame. I got these 6 galvanized washers just to kind of take up some of the slack on either side. These washers right here are going to be what actually goes up against the bearings on either side. They're a little thicker and stronger. And that's what's going to actually press the bearings into the frame. And then here's the nut to go on the other side of the bolt to tighten everything together. And then obviously you're just going to need whatever tools to fit either side of this bolt. Alright, so my new bike frame is finally here. I've been waiting for this thing for like 2 weeks now. Without further ado, it is the Sunday Excelsior frame, Mark Burnett Signature Edition in Trans Winter Blue. She's pretty. Ooh, she's real pretty. She's pretty. Alright. So the first thing I want to do to start building up this new frame is get the bottom bracket in. Here I have a Rant 22mm bottom bracket. And in the past I would just grab me one of these, grab me the bearing, sit the frame like so, and just smash the thing in until it was flush. I haven't really had any problems in the past doing that, but you see how beautiful this thing is? I cannot take a hammer to this thing, it's just too pretty, so I had to figure out how to do it the proper way, and I think it's gonna work, so we'll see. So first thing you're gonna wanna do, whether you're gonna smash your bearings in or use a press like this video, is you're gonna wanna grease your bottom bracket right here around this rim. Just a little bit, not too much. I'm not a huge fan of grease, but I know that it is important, so that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease around this lip. And smear it around. Should probably use more than that, but like I said, I'm not a big fan of grease. I ride in a lot of sand and dirt, and grease is just more shit for it to stick to. Alright, then you want to do the same thing on the other side, just a little bit of grease. Oop. Kind of smear it around, nice even coat. Okay, so once you've got your bottom bracket nice and greased around in there, you're ready to move on to the next step, which is to be pressing the bearings into the frame. Take your bolt. I'm going to take 2 of these galvanized washers here, and I'm going to slide those onto the bolt like so. I'm also going to take 2 of these stainless steel washers and slide those onto the bolt, and then you're going to take your first bearing and you're also going to slide that on just like that. So you should have something that looks like this for the first side. So once you have that set up on one side, what you want to do is place it through the bottom of the frame. My f***ing bolt is not long enough. I realized that my bolt was a little shorter than I thought, so these 6 spacer washers that I originally had I'm not going to use. So just toss those out, and also I'm only going to be using 2 of the thicker stainless. So grab your bolt, take one of the stainless washers, slide it down, and then take the first side's bearing and also slide that on as well. Next, you want to take your bolt with the bearing on it and you want to slide it through one side of the frame, get the bearing lined up. And then you want to take a spacer for the bottom bracket, slide that in there as well. And then you want to do the same thing you did on the one side, take the bearing, place it, place the stainless steel washer on the opposite side, and then you want to get your nut and begin to thread it on like so. Alright, once you've done that, it should look something like this with the bearings sticking out on either side with the nut. and then also the bolt head on the other side. And the idea here is that we're going to tighten this bolt down, and it should apply pressure evenly to these bearings and squish them into the frame. Before you go to start tightening this down, try to make sure that these washers are as centered as possible on the bearing so it applies a nice even pressure, because the idea is that you want them to go in flush, not all wonky. Alright, now that I've got these nice and centered up where I want them on the bolt, I'm going to go ahead and start tightening down both sides and applying pressure and try to press these bearings into the frame. Look at that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you press your bottom bracket into your frame without smashing it with a hammer. Alright, once you back everything out, it should be flush on both sides. You don't want the bearing to be protruding too much or not in all the way. You want it to be flush. And there you have it. That's probably the easiest I've ever gotten a bottom bracket in, and I didn't even have to use a hammer. Didn't even have to scratch my beautiful, beautiful baby. Oh, I just did. There you have it. That is how you properly compress bearings into your frame without breaking the bank and without going to a bike shop and without resulting to a hammer and smashing the shit out of your nice, sexy new Sunday Excelsior frame. I cannot wait to ride this thing. But if this video helped you out at all, or if you learned anything, leave it a like, I'd appreciate it. And also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Should have some more on the way soon. And hopefully some clips of me riding this bad boy, so stay tuned. And thank you for watching.